Are you there? Are we connected? Excellent. Truly excellent. Now, we may begin. First, you must create a vessel. Select the head that you prefer. Select the torso that you prefer. Select the legs that you prefer. This is your body. Do you accept it? Your name is... Welcome.
Shit, sorry. I love Deltarune, and besides Hollow Knight and Silksong, I'd very comfortably call it my favorite game. That being said, why am I gonna slander the great Tricky Tony by going behind his back, calling his designs trash, and just praying to be upgraded? Well, I'm not. I love these designs, and I don't think I could improve them in their current medium whatsoever. But I'm not in their current medium. So that's how I'll be tackling this. I'm going to take every major character and upscale them into my style. Okay, now when I say major character, I don't mean like C-Round and Clover. Sorry to Clover fans. They're just a little too far into obscurity, but we'll play it by ear. Starting with... It's Chris. We're starting with Chris. I don't know why you would think that we're not starting with Chris. So Chris was honestly really simple, especially the light world design. Particularly, I searched around Pinterest for some accurate clothes references because I don't really have sweaters or many of the things that I think Chris would wear laying around. The biggest thing was trying to work in a few more colors because obviously Toby Fox has a much more limited palette than I do. And trying to adapt what those shapes would be in more interesting ways than just the first thing that come to mind. Like turning Chris's sweater into more of a V-neck with a bit of a pop collar. I know it's a popular interpretation, and I can't say I haven't seen it in other designs before. But I certainly fell in love with it, and I don't think I'd be able to draw them in my style without it. Now, while as simple as their light world design is, I think I got a lot more creative with the dark world design. I added like a nice bit pauldron, like where Chris's would be, that I think adds a lot of shaping, has a nice spike to it. I love the silhouette it gives. I know some people think that Chris's scarf is striped, almost like how Frisk's shirt was in Undertale. They have very similar colorings. But I really just couldn't find a way to make that look nice in this kind of non-pixelated space, so I just went with a bright magenta to match Susie's design. Speaking of matching Susie's design, you'll also see once we get to the coloring phase that I added a little harness with a heart on it, with the same color as what Rousey's outfit is going to be. You'll see later that I also do the same for each of them. If they're missing a color from somebody else in the Fun Gang or the Delta Warriors, then I'll add it in myself. Along with the waistband, I also turned the knee pads into some upside-down hearts. But besides that, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I love that whether Chris likes it or not, they are just covered in hearts because they can't escape the player. I added a few extra details, like different perspective on their sword, what I think their shield should look like, their knife in the real world, a little birdcage for fun. And something that I think I'll try and do for all of them, maybe try and adapt to one of their either their talking world sprites or just an iconic face sprite that they've had in the game. And for Chris, that means that I'm taking their evil, it was Kara the whole time face. And yeah, it was honestly really fun shading the metal. It was very different to how I approached the fabric. I definitely tried to go for much bolder and brighter colors in the Dark World versus not quite dull and desaturated, but definitely in comparison to the Dark World. That way it just stands out and catches your eye that much more and feels almost abnormal compared to the Light World. But besides that, I think we are finished. I really liked working on this, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. Okay, I'm not dressing up as all of them, I just really like this hoodie, okay? Next up is my partner's personal favorite, Susie. I wrote her name quite crudely, like I feel like she would. She was scribbling on her own desk. But I had a lot of trouble with this one compared to Chris. Susie, she's a lot taller. She isn't even human in the slightest. She's kind of reptilian, dragon-ish, I guess. And her clothes are raggedy as hell. Not to mention the fact I just don't really draw feminine characters that much. Not that Susie is all that feminine, but either way, I really struggled with this one. This was honestly a great exercise for me. I think the hair was also, as you can see, I didn't know what to do with it, if I'm being perfectly honest. I tried to incorporate her eyes poking through the same way she does at the end of the chapter, but it really just didn't quite work for me. The only way I could see it happening is maybe doing the kind of anime style where you see the hair through the eyes when you really shouldn't be able to, but I feel like that would just irk at me way too much. So, compromise, maybe when we do chapter 2, I'll tackle this again, see if I can get the eyes to work in a way that I like. But back to her Light World design, kind of very similar to Chris, just upped to a massive degree. Her clothes are completely torn apart. Her jeans are ripped up, torn. Her jacket is stained and tattered. I don't even think the zipper is still attached. It looks like she found them in the Lost and Found. Now, compare that to her Dark World design, and it is all of her fantasies come to life. She's like a biker or something, something you would expect like an edgy teenage girl to dream of. She's got a giant war axe, which I added even more spikes to than the original had. Along with some jewelry I thought was pretty cool on Pinterest, like a little belt chain. She has like one of those like jade rings, which I think is cool, and was an easy way to incorporate some of Rousey's green into her design. As much as I do love this design, the time-lapse did unfortunately glitch in an annoying way, as you're probably seeing right now. For some reason, Susie's Light World design is just like her line art is just shifted over from where it should be, but you will see that fixed in the final design. But other than that, I mean, rendering her was a breeze. The line art I still feel is a bit messier than I would have liked, which I could see becoming a pattern, because this is a lot of designs. I kind of get them out a little quick, but I am still very happy with this, and I think she is quite menacing. So let's throw in a little Shadow Chris for scale and call her done. I know I'm just repeating myself here, but somehow Rousey was the hardest one for me. I was really, I finished up with Susie, and I was really hoping to just breeze through Rousey, and he just gave me so many problems. Mainly, I think, because his Chapter 1 design, where he's under the hat, is honestly just entirely different anatomy than he has once he takes it off. I mean, like, his face moves differently, he's much more expressive. I honestly kind of just wish he kept it on at the end of the day. But that's, you know, it's not my decision. That's the great Tricky Tony. So I had to work with what I had. So you will see in this time lapse many, many, many revisions. But this is our first darkener, so I'll talk about that. For almost all darkeners, I really want to incorporate, like, pure black somewhere in the design. I guess in similar ways to how in certain styles they have, like, fully blacked out shadows. I want to do that in at least one place for almost every darkener design. I don't know if I'll keep up with that, but yeah. So with darkeners, there is no light world variant, so I will try to at least include something else to draw with them to make it equivalent to the lighteners. For Rouse, it's doing his no hat form right now, even though I didn't do Susie's end of chapter form. I will get to it. I already talked about it. So, why was Rouse so hard? First of all, I wanted to try and push up the goat a little bit. I tried giving him goat eyes, that just didn't work. I tried changing his glasses up for something unique. It just didn't look right and kind of cluttered up the eyes. I think the glasses kind of cluttered up the eyes in the end anyway. But I eventually got it to a point that I liked, sat down, stared at it, decided I hated it, and had to go back and make more revisions, which is what you're seeing now. I really tried to incorporate, like, a unique pattern into his long dress, make it more, like, almost religious feeling, because, you know, the prophecy is, like, the town's religion, and he loves the prophecy. So I think he would have some sort of religious feeling clothing. You'll see right now I'm doing my best attempt at a background. Don't worry, it will not be in the final, so just ignore it while I talk. There's a big blue stripe for Rousey's design, because I felt that was the best way to incorporate Chris's blue. He already has the, you know, big magenta scarf, very similar to Chris, honestly. So they each have Susie's colors, but not each other. But I finally just decided on a more cartoony, not quite goat, and just general monster design. I'm still not the happiest with it, but I think I have it to a point where I am content, even threw in a little tail, some inspiration, because I really threw in a little tail, and I found some designs that give him like a nice little tail. But I think that finishes up the design, and will be the last of the Fun Gang Delta Warrior Shit Squad. Yeah. There you go, the whole Fun Gang in my style. Now, you may notice that we still have 5 more silhouettes left for Chapter 1. And I don't mean to tease, but 8 designs in one video is just a little hefty for me. I mean, it's literally my first upload, what do you expect? But I'm sure you'll get to see them sooner than you think. So don't touch that dial. And don't stop those But all that is besides the point. Fuck. I'm gonna have a cut there and 10 of them fucking kick my little dude, I don't know. It's not funny. Alright, that was the Chris script done. Gonna have to do a lot of fucking editing together because it's already 4 minutes. Oof. I'm probably gonna redo all of this. I'll keep some parts that I like. It's gonna be like, dun dun, Susie Gaster. I want to put Gaster in because Susie Gaster.